Hey good people, I've been playing Marvel Rivals for dozens and dozens of hours at this point, and I got to max proficiency with Cloak and Dagger. So, for my beginners to the game who want to get the support on, I wanted to show you how to play them and hopefully how to play them well. So, first things first, y'all. Let's go ahead and start out with the abilities for each one of them. Okay, first is Light Force Dagger. That is your R2 on console and your left click on PC. This is just throwing a light dagger and it does have some tracking and it will heal allies and it will do a little bit of damage to enemies. Alright. Next is going to be your Eternal Bond. This is your alt. This is L3 and R3 together on console and then Q. And what this does is it allows you to dash 3 times. And in that path, you will leave around this smoke on the floor, whatever you want to call that. While your allies stand in that, they get continuously healed. While your enemies stand in that, they get continuously damaged. This is a really good super, y'all. Then we've got Shadow's Embrace. This is just switching to your counterpart. There's going to be R1 and then L shift. And you got Veil of Light Force. Veil of Light Force is throwing a wall of light in a straight path in front of you from wherever you're aiming. And when it hits allies, it will heal them. And most importantly, right after that, you have a boost to healing. So this is when you start healing them with your Light Force daggers and it will be even more effective. All right. And then there's Dagger Storm. Dagger Storm is your little healing bubble, all right? It's your little safe space. What you do is you can throw it at a point for healing to your allies continuously if they're in the bubble, or you can throw it for yourself as well, at your feet or wherever you feel like you want to throw it. That's L2 and right click. And just so you know, there is a team up ability with Moon Knight that gives Moon Knight an extra ability where Moon Knight goes in the dark realm in a different type of bubble and they become invisible. And now let's go to our boy Cloak. So Cloak has a dark force cloak ability, and this is like a slightly not as great version of Scarlet Witch's primary, just literally a string of damage from you to an enemy who's close enough and you hold it and you do continuous damage. It's still really good though, I'm not gonna lie. All right, then you already know about your ult, it does not change. Then Light's Embrace is just switching back. That's going to be your R1 and your L shift. And Terror Cape. All right, Terror Cape is the opposite of the Light Wall. All right, this is just for your enemies. You throw a darkness wall in front of you just like the Light Wall. But the really cool thing about this is enemies that it hits, it will do a little chunk of damage to. It will blind and narrow their sight. This is very nice. And on top of that, most importantly, while they're purple, they are debuffed, meaning they can take more damage from all sources. That is beautiful. Then you have dark teleportation, all right? This is going to be like a Batman, cloak around yourself kind of animation. And within your range, for you and any allies you hit, it will make them invisible for a very short amount of time. All right. But this means they're not targetable and they're not damageable. Okay. So this is actually really helpful for making you invisible and them. And then keep in mind, while you're in this state, as you can see on screen, you can ascend or descend. So you can just float up in the air if you need to. All right. This is going to be your L2 and your right click. Now that that's out of the way, let's talk about next level tips and combos that you should really be keeping in mind as a Cloak and Dagger. First off is going to be the bubble shuffle, which I like to call it. This is going to be throwing a bubble at your feet and instantly switching over the cloak to defend yourself. This is when you're getting flanked. This is when you get dove by, let's say, an Iron Fist, a Spider-Man, somebody who likes to get all up in your face. All right, this is not going to save you too long against a tank, but you can turn the freaking tide against most DPS characters if you play this right. So throw the bubble at your feet. Stay in the bubble, switch to cloak. If you can land that wall to debuff them and then start attacking them with your left click or your R2, you will cook most enemies, all right? In that 250 and lower range of health. Or at least you will get them to back the hell up off of you. Then another thing you can do when you're being attacked and you just feel like, man, I'm not gonna win this one. I really just gotta try to get up out of here. What you can do is switch over to cloak and use your shroud to go invisible and immediately start ascending to try to get up to a higher level or to get on the other side of cover where there might be a health pack to help you out, or just give you another second or two until you get your health bubble. This is rarely useful in those situations. Then, while we're on the topic of your shroud, the most useful application of this freaking move is to protect you and your allies from most ults. Yes, you can really do this. So when you hear Scarlet Witch or you hear Iron Man start yelling their chant, they're about to attack. If you get the timing right, which is right before they let that attack go towards you, you want to either tell your teammates to get right up on you, or you move to whichever teammates you want to keep alive and prioritize and hit that shroud. You'll be invisible, they'll be invisible. And if you timed it not too early, they will survive. And then your ult, y'all. Your ult is so much more offensive than you think it is. Use it offensively. You can really change a game by using your ult on a domination point or on a payload to clear your enemies if you coordinate with your team. You want to tell your team you have the ult, and you want to make sure your DPSs and your tanks are there before you use it. Try not to use it just for yourself unless you're trying to clutch, like on a point, like I was just talking about. You need a couple extra seconds. That's a good way to do it as well. But use this ult when all of your team is there. Tell them you're about to ult and you should push. What you want to do is use your 3 dashes to try to cover all around the payload, or as much of the domination point as possible, because it's going to be really hard to get killed on that point. So after you do that, stay on the area of your ult, switch to cloak, and this is when you start throwing your wall and start attacking, and you can help your team clear, because this is going to continuously damage those enemies, and it's just a really good offensive ult. Start using it more like that and you'll see. Now to my Cloak and Dagger mains out there, what other tips do y'all have that I might have missed, or that you are, holding for your secret battles? Let us know down in the comments. And please, y'all, if y'all like these Marvel Rival videos, please drop a like, go into the comments, let's talk about it, and share it out, and subscribe or follow. I would really appreciate that support, and I'll keep these going. Thanks, y'all, and I'm out.